Yes, when you hear that foghorn each and every week, it's time for that 49ers show. After 2 years of planning, 2 years of put-offs, 2 years of any and everything that could happen, it is here. That 49ers show premieres tonight and will be with you every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good evening, everyone. Brian Snow here with you, taking you inside, up, all down, and around the faithful area. I have been faithful to the Bay since 1981, especially January 10th, 1982, when Montana hit Dwight Clark in the back of the end zone for the game-winning touchdown in the NFC Championship. That sold me. That made me a 49er for life. And here we are. I get a chance to cover my team, my way, for Snowman Multimedia, for Comey Media, Real Wise TV, and all the rest of our outlets. You can pick up the podcast replay of this on all of your favorite podcast outlets, wherever you consume your podcast. And we are presented by Fanatics, as well as BetUS.com and Invader Coffee. And man, we got some things to go over. We're going to go over the injury report because there are two key names that are on the 49ers injury report. We'll take a look ahead to the New York Giants tomorrow night, a game that yours truly will be doing play-by-play for. It's set to start at 8 p.m. As mentioned, I will have the call for that. And currently working out a couple of deals where I can broadcast all the 49er games from here on out. Alternative play-by-play for the 49ers because, of course, you have Greg Papa and Tim Green, the fabulous radio voices of the 49ers on KNBR. And whenever I have a chance to bring highlights from them, you will have it. And we're going to take a quick 2-minute break. And when y'all get back, we're going to go over what happened the first 2 weeks of the season, the domination in Pittsburgh. And yes, same old Niners, same old Rams. Back in 2. Yeah.
Attention sports fans, looking for the ultimate gear and apparel to show your team pride? Look no further than Fanatics, the #1 destination for sports enthusiasts. Visit snowmanmultimediasports.com today and shop a wide selection of officially licensed merchandise from your favorite teams and players. From jerseys to hats to accessories to collectibles, Fanatics has it all. Don't miss out on the chance to elevate your game day experience. Head over to snowmanmultimediasports.com/fanatics and gear up like a true fan with Fanatics. Officially licensed everything. Sports bettors, listen up. Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back and in our 30th year of action. With live in-game betting, incredible odds with daily odds boosters, props and parlays, fast payouts, and exceptional one-to-one customer service, we got it all. And when you sign up today and use the code SNOWMAN, you will get a 125% deposit match on your deposit. Log on to betus.com or call 800-792-3887. That's 800-79-BET-US. BetUS.com, where the game begins.
Welcome back to the premiere edition of that 49er show. You can catch us every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, unless there's a game coming, or well, you can pretty much catch us at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time each and every week, unless I say different. But and I know they're going to be a couple of times. I know Christmas weekend is going to be one where we will have a different time. We're getting everything together, and when I say we are getting it together slowly, let me send a shout to my dear friend Cole Johnson, who is the executive producer of programming and visual editing for Snowman Multimedia. If you haven't had a chance to check out Cole Sports on YouTube, I suggest that you do so. Fabulous, fabulous time with him. He's my co-host on Snowman in the Morning each and every morning. Also, a shout to Real Wise TV, and as mentioned to my engineer Victor Locke, aka Vicala. You all know him well from the morning show, for coming along this ride as well. I'll have a better time of putting this together, but right now we are going to go through some go through some highlights. And we're going to start in week 1, where the 49ers played the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it was just total domination. As you take a look at Purdy hitting Brandon Ayuk in the back of the end zone, that completed their first drive, and it was just over after that. I mean, that made it 7-0. It eventually grew to 20-0. And at one point there were 200 yards of offense, and the 49ers had 199 of them. The Steelers are basically basically a ground and pound team for the years that I've come to know and watch them. As you see, this 49er defense just put it on Kenny Pickett, Charvarius Moody Ward with an interception right there that set the 49ers up. Later on, that would turn into a field goal, made it 10-0. And as mentioned, the league got as big as 20-0, and the 49ers wound up winning that game by a final of 30-7 to move to 1-0 on the year. Brock Purdy looks like he hasn't missed any time at all. None. And what can you say about Christian McCaffrey? Mr. McCaffrey in that game carried the ball 20 times for 152 yards, most yards he's ever gained on the ground while a member of the 49ers. He did score a touchdown, and Christian McCaffrey has scored a touchdown in every 49er game that he has participated in. Now let's move on to week 2, where they played the Los Angeles Rams, and the Rams had a pretty much lots of reasons to beat their chest, because they beat up the Seattle Seahawks 30-13, and that was in Seattle. But as my dear friend, the playmaker, Darnell Solins, says best, that was Seattle. This is the 49ers. And he said something that is so very true. As much as I enjoy the 49ers beating the Rams during the regular season, the one I would love to have in place of every single one of those wins was the one in January of 22. That, of course, was the NFC Championship, which the Rams won by a final of 20-17. Let's take a look at some highlights. You see Brock Purdy looking to pass on a 3rd and 7. He zips it over to the middle to Brandon Ayuk. And Ayuk left this game later on with a shoulder injury. That led to this. Here comes Christian McCaffrey. You can't stop him. You can't contain him. He gets in the end zone. That made the score 7-0 in favor of the San Francisco 49ers as they look for win number 9 in a row during the regular season against the Los Angeles Rams. Take a look at how the offensive line, everybody pulled to the right. McCaffrey saw the cutback lane, cut back to the left, and ran over a couple of Rams into the end zone. We're now later in the first quarter. It's 7-3 now in favor of the 49ers. The toss to McCaffrey running left, and McCaffrey just took off down the sideline. And it took a couple of Rams to finally slow him down. This eventually led to a field goal, and McCaffrey barking a little bit. It was 10-10 at this point with 9:16 left in the second quarter, where Purdy flipped the ball to Deebo Samuel. There's that. And then there's the block by George Kittle getting downfield, and Samuel was able to pick up 10. Actually, he picked up 13 on that play. We're late in the second quarter, 1:44 left. A quick out to Deebo Samuel. Samuel skirted up the sideline and turned a 1st and 10 into a gain of 23. And the Niners were in business. They now operate from the Ram 40. Purdy drops to throw, zips it over to the middle, and wide open was Juwan Jennings, who was in for Brandon Ayuk as the clock ticks down toward the end of the first half. This was the final play of said first half. Brock Purdy said, "I got this. I'll do it myself." He sneaks over over the goal line into the end zone. And that was a big play for me because you don't want to go down 17-13, even though they were down 14-10 last year at SoFi Stadium. That knotted the game at 17 apiece. They had their heavy jumbo backfield, including Trent Williams, who pulled. And here's another play of the game right here. Stafford drops to throw. He goes over the middle. That pass was tipped, and it was picked off. And that gave the 49ers possession, and it led to a field goal. They got the lead 20-17, and they would not relinquish it. We're now later on in the third quarter, 4:10 left, as Purdy zips one over the middle. Again, that's Brandon Ayuk. Ayuk gets across the 45 to about the 48-yard line. And this is the field goal by Jake Moody, 57-yard attempt. His career high in Michigan was 58. No problemo. And the 49ers grabbed the lead, and they wouldn't relinquish it. As Stafford drops to throw again, that ball was tipped, and Stafford goes down at the hands of Fred I-Do-It-All Warner. That kept the lead as we now go into the money period. As Purdy fakes, he looks to throw, zips it over to the middle again, and that pass was caught by Deebo Samuel. Oh, here come Deebo. Who? Deebo. As we now are later in the fourth quarter, Purdy drops again on a play fake and now lobs one up the sideline to Jawan Jennings again. He made that catch, and the 49ers were in business. They were on the move as there was a minute gone in the fourth quarter. Look at the eyes of Purdy. Look at the eyes of Purdy. He stared down Jawan Jennings, but Jennings was able to beat his man. He beat Durant to the ball, and then a flip out to Samuel, and Samuel was able to do the rest. He broke 2 tackles and stuck it in the end zone. That made the score 27-17. Each team exchanged field goals, and the final 30-17 in favor of the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are now 2-0 on the year. The Rams dropped to 1-1 on the season. Man, it was fun watching that game. But if you want to invoke a joke into this, Playmaker did it for me on Monday. On Monday, the bad beat where the Rams kicked a field goal to cut the lead to 7. The Niners were favored by 7.5 in 7.5 in that game. It wound up being a push because most lines had the 49ers winning by 7. So that takes care of the recap of the first 2 games of the season. The Niners are 2-0, and they welcome the New York Giants on Thursday Night Football, which I'll have the call for. We'll do a quick preview of that and take a look at the injured list after this.
Hey everybody, Snowman here. Looking for the best way to experience live events? Well, SeatGeek has you covered. With just a few taps on your phone, you can find the best seats for concerts, sports, theater, and more. Don't miss out on unforgettable moments. Download the SeatGeek app today and get ready for an experience like no other. Each ticket is vetted for authenticity and ranked on a 1 to 10 scale. And right now, if you sign up and use the code Snowman, you will get $20 off of your first purchase. That's only through the power of SeatGeek, where fans can fan. Ready to upgrade your coffee game? Prepare for an invasion of flavor with Invader Coffee. It's the caffeinated elixir that fuels champions, the blend that pushes boundaries. Whether you're battling deadlines or exploring uncharted territories, Invader Coffee has your back. Join the invasion at invadercoffee.com and taste the difference for yourself. Use the code Snowman for 15% off your first order. Invader Coffee, veteran owned.
Welcome back to that 49ers show presented by Snowman Multimedia, and we're sponsored by Fanatics, BetUS.com, and Invader Coffee. Diary of a Mad Snowman debuts September 30th during International Podcast Day. The time will be upcoming tomorrow. Now it's time for our BetUS.com game preview. It's the Giants and the 49ers. It's Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And while we're taking a look, let's take a look at the injury list. First for the Giants. There are 4 Giants that are ruled out for this game. That's offensive tackle Andrew Thomas, running back Saquon Barkley, offensive guard Ben Breedson out with a concussion, and linebacker Azeez Ojulari out with a hamstring. Andrew Thomas out with a hamstring, and of course Saquon Barkley sprained his ankle in the win against the Arizona Cardinals. For the 49ers, there are 2 questionable injuries. That's Brandon Ayuk with the shoulder and Ambry Thomas out with a knee. And if you want to really take a look at this game before we get into the odds and into everything else, let's look at what the Giants did. They came back from 21 down. They were down 28-7, and they came back and won that game 31-28. And I hate to say this about the Giants. They did come back and win the game, but at the same time, I don't know, something turned the light on for them, but you lose Barkley in the process. Now, for the 49ers defense, they're going to look for a better performance, as they only got to Stafford one time, and they allowed Stafford to throw once again for 300 yards in the game. Fred Warner got the only sack for the 49ers. The Rams dominated time of possession. They moved the ball well against the defense. They dinked and dunked down the field and sliced us to pieces. They sliced us to pieces with that short passing game. But the 49ers turned it around with those 2 interceptions that led to 10 points. And that basically gave the 49ers a lead that they wouldn't relinquish, again, repeating the final 30-23. Defensive stats, 49ers ranked 3rd in scoring defense. That's a lot due to allowing only 7 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They only surrendered a touchdown. That came in the first half. The rushing defense is also tied for 3rd best in yardage allowed. They've only allowed 130 rushing yards. They've allowed 247 passing yards a game, 23rd overall, but only about 29% of the drives of the 49ers end in points. The unit is efficient and keeping true to something that's always been the 49ers. They don't blitz. They do not blitz that much, and they didn't have to blitz this past Sunday. They only blitzed at a 21% rate, and they pressured the quarterback on 31% of dropbacks, 3rd in the league behind the Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. They generate pressure, they get hurries, but I'm looking for Daniel Jones, the quarterback of the Giants, to go down at least 4 times on Thursday night. This is a patchwork offensive line for the New York Giants. And if there's any way the 49ers can feast on this patchwork offensive line, this is the time to do it, because you want to reestablish yourselves they want to establish themselves as the best defense in the NFL. They want to establish themselves as the best, but those passing numbers have got to come down. They've got to hold Daniel Jones to, like I say, under 200 yards. They got to hold him to under 200 yards in the game in the game. And they had 362 yards of offense last week against the Rams. They allowed 382. That's got to change. And with the Giants being 1-1, they're going to have a little bit of confidence coming up off of that comeback win in the desert against the Arizona Cardinals. If you're the 49ers, if you're Steve Wilks, if you're Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Javon Hargrave, Eric Armstead, and that defensive unit, you want to come after the Giants. I'm not saying you have to blitz all the time, but you want to come after the Giants. And you really want to show the Giants, hey, you have nothing for us, and we're going to prove it. We're going to prove it. And that's the thing that has to sit with the with the 49ers defense. They had a walkthrough today, and they did not do a full practice. Meanwhile, the Giants stayed in Arizona before they flew out. I'm assuming they flew out to San Francisco today and get into Santa Clara. It's going to be a raucous crowd at Levi's Stadium. It's going to be a full house, over 70,000 plus at Levi's Stadium. And that's the Niners home opener. And they usually do well in home openers at Levi's Stadium. Look at the numbers. 10.5 points the 49ers are laying at home. The over-under is 44. You know, I normally wouldn't think this, but I'll go ahead and think it anyway. Lay the points. Go ahead and lay the points. And, you know, go ahead and take the over. I was wrong last week. I nearly scored that. The over-under was 45. I did nail that one, as there were 53 points scored in that game. 44 is the over-under number here. I say go ahead and take the over, because that 49er offense, even though they did struggle for part of the first half last week, that second half, they were humming on all cylinders, and I expect them to continue it tomorrow night in Santa Clara. That's going to do it for this shortened edition of That 49er Show. You can catch us each and every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. I'll take you through the previous week, and we'll go into the next week. We're going to add some interviews. We're going to add some player profiles and all kinds of stuff to take you to and through the 2023 49ers NFL season. My time is up here. I hope you enjoyed this premiere edition of That 49ers Show. I will see y'all next Wednesday night. God bless you. We'll see you next Wednesday, and we'll see you tomorrow right here on this channel for 49ers and Giants. I'll have the alternative play-by-play call, and I'll begin the festivities at 7:30 with a special 30-minute pregame chat with the fans, and then at 8 o'clock, all hell will break loose from Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. God bless you, and good night, everybody.